Hello and welcome back to part number 2 of modeling the Roland TB-303. Let's get to the top view first, and I think we're going to start building that, the top part of that machine with those holes in there and the knobs. So let's get started by let's create a polygon plane first and then hit R to scale it up. Like I said in the first video, so I want to stay in the real life measures, so I'm gonna scale it in x 30 centimeters and in a z of 14.5. That looks good. Now we go to the edge mode, and let me go to the object mode first, and then let's just dial down the subdivisions so that we only have one plane here. So we're gonna put in our splits by using the so this button here on my shelf. It says split selected edge ring. So by default it's not on that polygon tab here. So to bring it there, I always explain it for the people who don't know how to do it. And I'm always searching for it. So it's under mesh tools and then insert edge loop tools. And when you press Control and Shift together and then left click, you gotta drop whatever tool you want on that shelf that is active in this moment. So I got some stuff I don't use via shortcuts. There are some shortcuts I can't remember, so I have these buttons here. So I'm gonna explain when I'm using the button that's not by default there, I'm gonna explain where you can find it. Alright, so let's use the split, what it's called here. So it's going to do a split selected edge ring, and it's funny because here it's insert edge loop. So why is it, does it have a different name here? I don't know. Okay, so with that tool selected, we're gonna bring in one split, somewhere where you see that I don't know the English word for that, so you know what I'm talking about. Alright, so let's now do another split where the next one is. So we just do a rough separation of that geometry here. Okay, so now I hit Q on the keyboard. So when you have an object selected, let me turn on shaded mode. Once you have an object selected, so if you hit W, you get to the move tool here, and with the E on your keyboard you can rotate, and R is scaling. And I just, it's a habit to, when I've finished just moving something, so I always press Q to get out of that tool, so that I don't, accidentally move something or rotate or scale. So that happened to me many times. Alright, so let's go back to wireframe mode. Now let's create something that we put here for those holes that we have to put into that polygon plane. Let's do it. We could use curve circle here. So go to the curves tab. Yeah, it's maybe not the smartest idea. Let's just use that polygon disk here. Don't use it that often, but sometimes it's kind of helpful. A polygon disk. So let's just in case crank up the subdivisions to 4. So under the inputs. and we put the radius to something like 0.85. So that's what I measured on that real thing, 0.85. So you can put in 0.85, but that's a waste of time because 0.85 is gonna do it. So let's see. Let me just zoom in here. So to check out where we put it. It looks a little bit larger than it does on the image. 0.85. So let's put it to 0.8. Yeah, that looks better. And we always have to keep in mind that that image, has a perspective offset. So I'm gonna try to, orient it at this what's the name for a black square? I don't know. So I try to bring it to the center of that little black marker here, and then I'm not really looking at the marker here because I know that the image has an offset, and then so I put it a little bit more down, maybe a little bit more to the right. So, as always, I'm getting picky. So to keep the distance between those holes where those knobs come in, keep the same distance. I'm gonna I want to freeze the transformations here. So I put that button here on my shelf, and that's under modify, and then here you find freeze transformations. So hit Control Shift at the same time, and then left mouse button, and then you'll have it on your shelf yourself. So I'm gonna hit the button, freeze transformations, and then I'm duplicating that disk. So I hit Control D. So you won't see it now because it's sitting at the exact same spot as the one that we as the original one. So I'm gonna move that duplicate object now to the right in X. So, and now I'm looking here up to see how many millimeters or centimeters I moved it to in X, because when they built this thing, you can see it's always the same distance. So let's try to find something that comes close to the real. So it's either 2.2. Okay, let's try it with 2 centimeters and 2 millimeters, 2.2. So after we move that in X and change the value here, now you can hit Shift D. So that's gonna duplicate the object with the same settings that you changed. So even if you would have rotated it or moved it in any other direction, it would just do another duplicate with the exact same settings. So I'm gonna hit Shift D again and again. Let me zoom out and then once more. So and then I'm trying to check if that comes close to the real machine in the background. So let me turn on the shaded mode. Okay, that's not helpful. So let's take we could also do. I don't want to get too deep here, so let's get back to wireframe. So let's. That looks good. So it looks good to me. I don't know if you see it, but it looks good to me. So those discs are almost perfectly sitting where they have to sit. So I think 2.2 centimeters was perfect. All right, so let's just leave it like it is. And now we could do the same with the with the 4 holes down here. So let's create another polygon disc. And again, let's try to find some part where it's not too much off. This one is the best we can use. So let's crank up those subdivisions again to 4. And then, so now it's a radius of 1, so let's try 1.2. That's looking perfect to me. It's exactly where it should be. Okay, so now let me. Okay, so I'm just doing some stuff, and I have to think what's a short way to explain stuff while I'm doing it. So let's turn on shaded mode. So I have that plane in the background selected. So we could just move it below our image plane. It's one easy way, and then bring it back up later when we need it. Okay, now we select this disk, and I want to align it to the one that's above it, because I know if I look at the machine here, it's exactly in the center. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, obviously you can see it on the photo. So this knob here is sitting exactly centered under this one, and this one under this little, what's that? The tuning. Okay, so let us align the disc here. So I move it first in X, and then even if I zoom in between, so I now press V and hover over the center vertex of the disc above it. So if I do that, so try to watch down to the disc I selected. So that V, if you press V, that's point snapping or vertex snapping. If you hit X, that's grid snapping, and C is curve snapping, curve and edge snapping. And those snapping functions are, for hard surface modeling. That's what I think. It's my opinion. That's the most important thing to know. So now, once we are happy with this, my English is rusted. Now, when we are happy with the disk here, so we're gonna duplicate it again. So Control D, and then we move it negative in X, and again. So I move it here in X, and then I press V, hold V, and then the middle mouse over that center point or vertex of that disk above it. So like that. So now it's snapped on the x-axis to that vertex I hovered over when I pressed the middle mouse button. So now just some snapping tips. Looks good to me. For this hole here, so I'm doing another duplicate, so I hit Control D again, and then I move it there. So I know that this hole here where this knob sits is not that close to the border of the machine than this one. So let's just try to find something that's comes close to the reality. If you hear some weird noise, that's the dog behind me. I don't know what he's doing. He's doing his stuff. Okay, so let's duplicate it once more. Control D, and then we move it to the right in X. So then bring it over somewhere over here. That looks great. Alright, so another 15 minutes gone, and I didn't really do anything important. But I'm gonna pause this video and we'll be back with the next one soon.